I'm going to make a quick comment, a little bit deeper content here, in case you're an INFJ listening or watching along that has some more advanced attunement to personality types. I'll just say this, and this is just for those INFJs. So there's some things you can do to pay attention to the energies you attune yourself to around yourself. So as an example, the harmonizing INFJs tend to seek out and play well with other types, both their own and other types that are dominant subtypes. Those two energies do well together. Just like I said, if you're a harmonizing INFJ, you might want to seek out somebody that can help put you forward, market you, talk about your skills and all of that. That works together in tandem really well. And that's a unique arrangement between the dominant subtypes and the harmonizing subtypes. Because when we get to the creative subtypes, they tend to not want to be around other subtypes of their own type or others. They tend to hang around other creatively wired people that are of that subtype. Same thing with the normalizing. Normalizing likes to stay with normalizing. Creative likes to stay with creative. But dominant and harmonizing both like each other. They like to connect to each other and stay kind of in a containment. So if you find yourself in one of those, if you're a dominant, you might want to look for other energies that are more harmonizing. If you're harmonizing, you might want to look for more energies that are dominant. If you're creative, be careful that you don't just find other creative subtype people of all flavors. And if you're normalizing, be careful you don't just have friends and people you associate with that are all normalizing, because you tend to want to cluster together in those groups. That's just a trend. It's not a rule. But those are some things to pay attention to and just be mindful of. If you're somebody that understands type at the level we've talked about so far, that's a little bit more advanced material that hopefully we can talk about in a future episode and unpack. There's a bunch of reasons why that is. We can talk about that in the future. Yeah. Did that make sense, by the way?
Yeah.
I know I started that off in a little bit of a convoluted. I found my way there through conversation. Yeah. So hopefully that made sense in how I articulated that. So the other thing to also keep in mind is these are flexible. You can move in and out of them. I like to use the metaphor of a song. If the written musical notes on the paper is the song that is INFJ, the way that song is performed is the subtype. So obviously if Rage Against the Machine performs a song, it's going to sound much different than Lady Gaga performing a song, even though the musical notes on the paper might be the same. Those are two different expressions of the same possible song. And so these subtypes are an expression of the INFJ personality type. They are not a type in and of themselves.
Or like Johnny Cash covering a Tool song.
Exactly.
Right. It's like the same notes, the same words, but a totally different interpretation.
I would also say there's a maturity aspect to this. Like we go through a maturation process in life. And you mentioned like a lot of people start out with more dominant energy when they're younger, which would make sense. We're looking for our friend circles, our career, mating opportunities. We have to put ourselves out there more when we're younger to find the opportunities in life. So it would make sense.
We're trying to make our mark on the world.
Exactly. It would make sense we're more attuned to that. And then later in life, after we've gone through all the experience of life, it makes sense we're going to lean back more and be available to all the energies that come to us. And they come to our terms more guidance, more softness, more offering in that way. So you might also just notice throughout your life, there's a maturation process to these subtypes as well as an INFJ.